All right, so coming up on the show, this is a really interesting guest, one of the most unique guests I think we've ever had on the show. You can call her the Bollywood singer.
Okay.
Her name is Prita Chhabra. You probably know her name. She is got a really unique story. She calls herself a mixed-up girl in a mixed-up world. And she said, listen, this is what her quote is. I'm not changing my name to suit Western audiences, and I'm not singing in Punjabi to make South Asians happy either. So she's got a really unique story about her approach to music. So we're going to be talking to her on the show very shortly. And cue Slumdog Millionaire music. So she's going to be joining us. Really interesting artist coming up here on CP24 Breakfast at 7:27. Thank you so much, Lindsay. We're really excited to have probably one of the most unique guests we've ever had here on the show on CP24 Breakfast. I want you to take a look at Prita Chhabra. This is her newest single called Roots. Now, this is a fantastic single, and more interesting is the story behind this amazing Canadian musical artist. You're going to be hearing a lot more about her, especially as we have groundbreaking, the International Indian Film Academy Awards that are going to be coming to Canada. It's the first time that these awards are going to be held outside or in North America. So we are really excited to welcome this morning Prita Chhabra here to CP24 Breakfast. Good morning to you.
Good morning. I can't believe I'm awake right now.
Trust me, we say that every day on our show. Now listen, maybe not yet a household name, but I think your story is really, really fascinating, and I was hoping you could share a little bit of that with us, because when I was reading your bio, you call yourself a mixed-up girl in a mixed-up world. Yeah. And tell us a little bit about your journey as a musical artist in this country.
I grew up listening to English music. My first influence was Bette Midler. And I remember being in 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, 2nd grade, just in love with her. And I'd steal my dad's Walkman and go to school and be listening to her tracks, and people would be like, "What are you listening to?" And I say, "Bette Midler," and they say, "Ew, my mom listens to that." I just loved her. I've loved English music my whole life. At the same time, I was raised in quite a religious family, so during the weekends and at home, I felt like I was this Indian girl, and I was going to the Gurdwara singing Shabads. So I've been raised with these two completely different musical influences, and in my head they fuse together perfectly, and so that's how my music comes out to the world. Sometimes, most of the time, it's majority English and North American music, pop music. I love it, but sometimes some songs will come in with some vocals in Punjabi or Hindi, and maybe I'll have a little dole or sitar and that kind of thing. So I'm trying to create this perfect fusion and blend between the two.
And what I think is, I think a lot of people understand that story, even if they don't come from an Indian background at all. I think, like you, I'm a child of immigrants, and trying to bring together your parents' culture and traditions, but being born and raised in Canada, and that. What has been the perception? How have you, what feedback have you received from both the mainstream pop culture and then that of your parents' community?
It's hard because my community is amazing to me. They support me so much, but at every single show there'll be at least one person saying, "Sing a Bollywood song, we want Hindi music," and I'll feel like, come on, guys, I need your support. I need my community to support so much. When I go to the mainstream audience, they'll say, "This is great English pop music. You can't even tell it's an Indian girl singing. But you look so ethnic, and we don't know if this is going to sell." I actually even had somebody who was Indian come up to me and say, "You sing really good English pop music. You know why you're not successful yet?" And I said, "Why?" He's like, "Because your name, Prita Chhabra, it sounds too ethnic. Change your name. Maybe then you'll succeed." And that's why I wrote Roots, to say, no, I'm not going to change my name. I'm proud to be South Asian. I'm proud to be Canadian. I'm proud to be both, and I want my music to reflect that. I don't want to deny my culture in my music. I want to be known as an Indian girl singing English music.
And is that what's behind this photo?
That's exactly what's behind that photo. And I feel like it's if you cover up half the side with your hand, you'll see, the Western side of me, and you'll have completely different expectations from, let's say, the Indian side of me. And when you take your hands off the picture, you'll see that it's one face with two completely different looks. It's the same girl with two completely different things being expected out of her.
It's really fascinating, because I think it's a struggle that a lot of people find themselves in, is how do you assimilate and yet keep keep a lot of your heritage with you. Now let's talk about some mainstream success of others. We've got singers like Jay Sean, who has gone on to do amazing things still in music.
Yes.
Of course, Russell Peters, we know him very, very well. And I know that you've performed alongside both of them. I think you opened for Jay Sean,
Yeah.
and I know that you've appeared alongside Russell Peters. With their mainstream success, have they given you advice in terms of one way to go or the other, or how do you navigate through this?
What I've learned from their careers is they just didn't give up. They just kept doing it. I mean, we know Russell Peters from a long time. He's been doing this for 10, 12, 15 years. He just hasn't given up, and that's what I know that I have to do. I have to keep pushing, I have to keep hustling, and I know that I've been put here for a reason. My mom says you have to bloom where you're planted. If I was meant to sing Indian music, I think that God would have set it up so that I'd have at least access to be able to hear it in my environment a little bit more. I think I'm meant to do this. I think I'm meant to represent my generation this way, and I hopefully, you know, I already feel successful because I'm doing what I love to do. I'm happy every single day, and every day that I get to sing is another day that I didn't waste on planet Earth. So.
Wow. Wow, that's just phenomenal, really.
Thank you.
People can see you. Tell us where you're performing tomorrow.
Tomorrow I will be at Yonge and Dundas Square. It's for Desi Fest, one of the coolest South Asian festivals out there. They actually discovered me about 4 years ago back in Montreal, brought me into this huge Toronto community of South Asians, and just celebrating South Asians who've been born and raised just like I have in North America. And it's going to be an awesome concert.
Wow. And of course, for anybody who's going to be attending the International Indian Film Academy Awards, otherwise known as IFA, you can see Prita there as well, who's going to be performing, which is really huge for you. Really, the awards being here is huge in and of itself.
Yeah.
So listen, we are going to continue to follow you and support you.
Thank you.
Please come back anytime. And I think really now more than ever, I think Canada and the world is ready for an artist like you.
Ah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us, and have fun tomorrow.
Thank you.
It is now 7:43, 11 degrees. You're watching CP24 Breakfast.